Open it and you'll be able to see one or two things there. Let me just increase my backlight so that you'll be able to see. Now you're seeing what is called the FPS. That is this. Let me see. FPS, that is frames per second. Now, what I was explaining in that FPS is this. I said FPS means frames per second. If you are watching a particular video, what you are seeing is not actually is what you call pictures. Pictures playing at the same time. If you pause it, that is called a frame. If you pause a video, that is just what is called a frame. So how many frames are playing per second? Your phone comes automatically with 24 frames per second, some 30 frames per second. For Instagram, for instance, Instagram would only allow 30 frames per second. You can't go lower than that. So for your Black Magic, leave it at 30 frames per second. Open your Black Magic app, leave it at, how are you going to set it? Click on it. When you click on it, you can adjust your frames per second here. You can go lower. You can see me here. I can go lower, but I want to leave it at 30 frames per second. And I said this is 25, 29. Where is 30? Okay, I've left it for 30 frames per second. Now, I was saying that most of the home videos or the videos you watch online, action movies, they stop at 24 frames per second. But for a regular phone, or for if you are doing it with your own phone, set it at 30 frames per second. Then if you want slow motion, if you want to edit your video in slow motion, go as high as 60 frames per second. Don't use 30 frames per second. Stop at 60 frames per second. The meaning of FPS you are seeing here is frame rate per second. How many frames can be captured in 1 second? Now, the next one you're seeing is ISO. Can you people hear me? Comment section, if you can hear me, please let me know. This software I'm using, basically all softwares have all these things I'm saying. So this is how to take your normal picture, how to take your normal videos, the best settings on your phone, whether it's an Android or whether it's an iPhone. This is what you should use. For the ISO, the meaning of ISO is International Standard Organization. I don't know why they named it that, but that is the meaning of ISO. Okay, it is just to set how your this thing to be bright or to be low. Now, if you click on it, I would advise that don't go anything higher than 1000. I basically set my ISO. You can see that default is on 320. Set it to 800. So you just move this, move. Oh, it has gone very high to 800. Now I'm going to test something now. You can see the fruit we are all seeing now. I'm going to go very high for you to see how it's going to change. You can see it's getting too bright, but I'm going to 800. If you go lower, it will get darker. You could see what I'm talking about. But set it at 800. Okay. Can you see that? Good. Now you have what is called shutter speed. That is this one here, shutter. If you can see what I'm saying, please let me know. If you see what I'm saying,
Yes,
let me know.
yes,
Just
yes.
yes. Yes. Sister Cindy, yes. Set ISO. The meaning of ISO is International Standard Organization. It's just to show you that something should be bright or should be dark. But basically, just put it at 800. I'll tell you the ones you can adjust. Maybe you're outside or you're inside. I'll let you know the ones you can adjust. Now, for your shutter speed, the basic rule for shutter is that check your frame rate. Your shutter speed should be times 2 of your frame rate. If you are using a frame rate of 60, your shutter speed should be 120, 1/120. Now, let me explain to you what shutter means. Now, when you say shutter speed, it refers to how long your image is exposed to light. Let me give you the example. If this is my camera, this is where I press snap for it to snap. This is where I press snap. When I press snap, how many seconds am I allowing it to receive light into the lens? Pa, 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 pa. I've taken how many snaps? About 5. In how many minutes? That means I can even take about 100. This is actually manual, but in your phone is actually automatic. How many shutters can you make in 1 second? That is the meaning of shutter speed. That is the meaning of shutter speed. How many pictures, how many frames can you take in 1 second? That's the meaning of this shutter speed. But basically, the rule for photography is that your shutter speed should be times 2 of your frame rate per second. So for instance, we are using 30 frame rates per second. I hope you are getting that. Before we put this thing at 30, definitely your shutter speed should be 160. How can we adjust this? If it is set something else, just click on shutter, then you come here. You can reduce, you can increase. Now let's see something. If I reduce it, if I increase it, it can increase. You can see what happened just now. I increased it to 8,000 shutter speed. You can see it has turned the thing bad. So the best thing is that your shutter speed should only be twice your your frame rate. Our frame rate is 30. Shutter speed is 60. You can see how crisp this is now. You can see how I could get this apple very good. I can snap it and it will be awesome. I can do a video and it will be awesome. You can see that. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about is something called white balance. White balance. I hope I'm not rushing.
The white balance, is that the one that says WB on Android, on what's it called?
Yes, yes, yes. White balance. That is this YB.
Or
So
WB, you want to say?
good. Now, the basic rule is that for white balance is just it's a digital setting to let us know what is white. For instance, this is white. For white balance now, if I click it and take this thing, increase this thing, okay, I've locked it, and I increase this thing, you can see that it is changing the color already. It is no more white, right? There's a difference between what you're watching here and this other place. Yes or no? Comment section. My wall is white, but in this camera settings now, I've increased the white balance, that it is not recognizing this white again. If I'm using just the camera settings, the camera of this phone, not black magic, I'm not using this software, you're going to see it distorted. It will look like something like this. The white will not be white. So there's a difference. But now let me now adjust it. If you are inside a room, if you are inside a room or a place that is a bit dark, please write this down. Set this thing to 3200. This white balance to 3200. How are we now? Can you see the white is even whiting very, very well now? Hello? Can you get it now?
Yes.
Good. That is,
We
if
are,
you are
we are
inside, like I'm
getting.
inside a room now, you can see the difference. That the camera of this, I'm using the normal camera of this phone. I'm not using a software for TikTok, but this is a software now. This is a software trying to capture this apple. You can see how I have changed. I've taken it to the normal white of my wall. So if I snap now, it's going to be very original, different from the camera of this phone, different from this one. This one is different from this. And that is because I have adjusted the white balance. I hope we understand this. Now, if you are outside in a sunny environment, change it to 5,600. If you are inside, it should be 3,200 Kelvin. That K there stands for Kelvin, 3,200. But if you are outside in a sunny environment, change it to 5,600. So you can see now that the white is no longer whiting. But if I take this apple outside now to a sunny environment, the environment will turn white instantly. I hope we understand this now.
Can I ask a
So
question?
now you might be saying, "Oh, I have done so many changes, blah 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 blah." Let me change it back to 3,200. Would I be changing this thing all the time? Would I be changing this thing all the time? Hmm. Of course, you don't have to. You see what is here called auto. You could just press it. That is, you don't padlock all your settings. It won't change again. I hope you just understood what I did. That, oh, is it all the time? Tibalo for Banco or somebody is using my phone to play and they changed all the settings. How would I go back? You don't need to worry yourself. The auto you are seeing here, just press on it. All your stuffs would lock. If you close the app and come back again, it will still be there. All the settings you put there will be there. Now, the last thing you people would be asking me, I can't find auto on mine. Auto, then there's one padlock, Sister Cindy. There's one padlock beside auto, like this one here. Can you see it? Good. If you can see it, then you'll be asking me, lens. Why is it putting lens of 26 mm? Lens is just telling you that you have, for instance, I clicked on lens just now. The software is going to recognize that I have 4 cameras on my phone, 3 at the back, 1 in the front. If you check very well, it's telling me I have 1 in the front, 3 at the back. It is using the ×1 lens. That is the real lens. This one I showed you, the one down here, this is the lens it is using. This is the original lens. This is the wide angle lens, and this is the telephoto lens. This is the one that would say times, you want to zoom ×10. This is the lens that works for that. This is original lens. This is wide angle lens. I hope we know. For Samsung users, Samsung Galaxy, they arranged 3 lenses there. They are also functioning like this. One of them is the original, the other one is wide angle, and the other one is the telephoto lens. Let's go back to this. Like I said, lens showed us I have 3 cameras. I can switch. Let me switch. You can see this one is the wide angle lens. This is the original lens. This is the zoom lens. You can see that one. I won't use the front lens because that one will show my face. I hope we understand this stuff now. So let me go back to the original lens. That is what we have here. For our frame rates, I said leave it at 30. For your shutter, it should be 1/60. For your ISO, I said don't go above 800. Of course, you can go above, don't exceed 1000. I like putting mine at 800. For your white balance, if you are inside a room, put it at 3,200 Kelvin. You could go up a little bit or down a little bit, but the moderate place is 3,200 Kelvin. And for your white balance, Then the last one, you're going to see something. You are seeing tint. Tint is that you are in a very sunny place and you want to tint it a bit. It will be as if your screen is putting on a shade. Let's try it. I've clicked on it. You can see I clicked on it because I did not auto lock all my settings. If I auto lock, I won't be able to do anything. Now for tints, I could adjust. Let's see if I adjust all this. You could see it's as if, okay, good. This is plus 50 tints. You can see it has taken the original white balance away. It's as if it's putting on dark goggle. So why don't I just remove everything and put it at 0? Good. So my white is whitening. Every setting is okay. And this is how the entirety of this Black Magic camera app. It's very good for learners, that is foundation learners. It is not complex, easy to see. There are some of these softwares that they don't show you FPS shutter, they will show them as symbols, and if you don't know them, Oyo is your case. So it's very good to understand what all these things mean. What does FPS mean? Your shutter should be twice your FPS. Don't forget that rule. Your shutter, the value of your shutter should be twice your FPS. Your ISO is just to show how bright things should be. And your white balance, I've told you, it is going to tell you the true white of every image. Your tint is to put a shade on your camera, and for you to lock all your settings, just click on auto. This. You said, should the lens remain at 22 mm? It depends on what you want to do. Okay, let me remove it on auto. Look at something. I said it's 26 mm, not 22 mm. It depends on the phone. I don't know the phone you're using, but I'm using an iPhone. So yours might be 22 mm. So if I click on lens, it will automatically tell me which one I should choose. This is an iPhone that has 3 cameras at the back. This is the one that shows 22 mm. This is more than 22 mm. Let me show you again. This is the back of my camera now, of my phone now. I told you that this is the lens that shows you the real image. This one is a wide lens. It widens your picture, and this one is for telephoto lens. It zooms things. So I'm making use of this camera. Okay, Samsung 24 Plus. Okay, so let's go back for the lens. You can see I'm making use of 26 mm. If I choose another camera, this is the wide angle. You can see it has taken the apple back and it has widened the space. And this one is zoom. You can see it has brought the camera, the apple close to the camera. So those are 3 cameras that are on the iPhone, but the basic one I would advise people to use always is this 26 or 22. Like you said, you're using a Samsung 24 Plus. Use the real camera, the one that shows the actual distance between your object and your phone. Okay? Is there any question or I should proceed?
Hold on,
So we'll be
Dr. Joe.
watching a short video.
Can I
Ma,
ask?
what do you have?
Yeah, I on my phone. I'm using a Flip Z phone on what's it called, a Samsung phone. There's something that says IRLS or IS. What does that mean? It's right under. It says
IS.
IRIS. It's next to
Iris.
Iris. Yeah.
Can you show me? Let me see. And you should click it. Let me see the function.
How will I do that? No, Marshall. I don't want to go. I don't want to. Okay, let me tell you. Okay, because it says f1.8 on my phone. I don't know what that means.
Oh, oh, oh. That's aperture. Can you just leave that settings? It is actually most of these DSLRs. When I'm talking about DSLRs, these are cameras that you could actually remove the lens. If you can remove the lens, there's something you call aperture. It's actually inside here. So your Samsung also has that feature. So that's what that one is talking about. But I basically don't touch it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So Pythagoras, good afternoon, sir. So like I said, oh sorry, I didn't say something. Now for photography too, you also need a tripod stand, like the one I have here. This is very, very okay. It could stand anything, a gimbal, and it's adjustable. It can go as high as 6 feet. So if you want to really go into photography, it's a very good one to choose. And like I said, if you want to also get yourself a laptop, get the one that has a video card in it that could edit and it's 8 gig RAM. So for I'd like us to watch a short video, and while he's making his explanations, I would be not this. I would be I'll be showing you the settings on your camera too. Okay. Sporty TV YouTube promo 10 seconds. Going to show you how to, in just 20 minutes we're going to show you. Okay, so let me see how I can okay, whatever stuff he's doing. Okay, Pythagoras, good day, sir. So whatever stuff he's doing, I'll be. Oh, sorry. Okay. Can you still see my camera? Is my video up? Daniel Buru, is my video still up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes.
we can hear you.
Okay, good. So he'll be giving us a brief tutorial in 20 minutes. So whatever adjustments he's making that I have not done so far, I'll be explaining using my iPhone. And if you're using a Samsung or whatever phone you're using, just tell me to stop. I'm gonna pause the video and let you know from the section too. How to master mobile filmmaking. This video will be for those of you wanting to create YouTube videos, social media influencers, people wanting to use their phones to film better travel videos as a hobby, or even people wanting to start a film business and are just wanting to get started with what they have. The point is, whenever this clock hits 0, you will have full confidence and have mastered your smartphone. We're going to be talking about how to properly set up your phone, how to get the correct exposure, all the settings. 0, you will have full confidence and have mastered your smartphone. We're going to be talking. Now, you could see what he's plugging this thing to. This is a gimbal. You can see how it functions. Instead of you holding your phone with your hand will be shaking. You basically make use of what he's holding here. This is it here, a gimbal. If you go to most weddings now, you'll be seeing that the photographer is actually attaching his big camera to a gimbal. It is for stability, for the video not to shake, to look very professional. Okay, so and I told you that these things are not expensive. Apart from your phone, I think the gimbal presently is between 180 to 210, depending on the brand you want to buy. What else? I told you you'd also need an external hard drive. It depends on what you want. This one is 2 terabytes. You could buy 1 terabyte. You could buy 512 gig. I told you you don't need to buy a microphone. You don't need to buy a microphone. This is even a wired microphone. There are wireless microphones you could plug on your body. You could make use of what? Your AirPods. And make sure your AirPods are these noiseless, noise cancellation AirPods. Noise cancellation. You don't need to get an iPhone AirPod. You could just get the basic ones like Huawei has a fantastic one. Xiaomi too has. There are so many companies that have. Even Oraimo has. Your tripod stand like the one I have here. I don't think this is up to about 50K, 50,000 naira. That's about 20 quid or something. then perhaps you might be this kind of person. Maybe your video or your pictures are for travel, or you want to go to secret missions or things like that, secret places. You could get spy cameras. This is one of them. I could wear this on my body now, and it has a camera on it. Where is it? Okay, this is the lens. You can see the camera there, just very small. I'll wear it on my body and you even know where it is. And it records even nights. It could record very low light places, and very, very good. It has sound and things like that. You could All these things is not even up to 500K except your phone. So you could see that you could be creating things, you could be selling things online. And honestly speaking, you don't know where your photography is going to take you. A very good photograph explains your product. In fact, it could even be better for your product. Like you're selling groceries, you have a website that is selling things, or you're going to travel, tourism. Photography is just your thing. Or you have like a salon like Mommy Abby's Touch now, Mommy Buffets now. Yes, they could actually use very good softwares to go into photography and sell their stuff. Okay, good. So let's continue with this video.
About how to properly set up your phone, how to get the correct exposure, all the settings you need to know, things to avoid with your smartphone, and even some of the gear we would recommend.
Now, good. Now you could see there's something called a lens. You don't really need it. Like you could see the software I was showing you, it has something called tints. So instead of you buying this lens, or for you when you are in a very sunny environment, it's like a Google is like as if you are putting black shades to your eyes. So a phone also has its own shade too. So the software already has what is called tints. So I showed you earlier. So that's something you could also use. So where is your tint in this? See it here. Here. This tint here. You can see it. Can you see how fantastic this software is? You can look at my keyboard. See, very, very crisp, noiseless. The video is very, very okay. Look at it. Look at it. Can you see that? Good. You can see how good the software is. So let's continue.
Like lenses and gimbals and things like that. Also, at the end, you'll watch us get the correct exposure in real-world examples from interior shots to exterior shots. This will truly be the ultimate guide to master smartphone filmmaking. About a year ago, we made a video called Master Your Camera in 20 Minutes, talking about how to properly run your DSLR or mirrorless camera, and so many of you guys said how much you appreciated that video and how much it helped you out. And some of you said in that one single video you learned more than you did at film school. So with smartphones becoming more and more popular, and with people starting to use them more, we thought we would do the exact same.
So this is another product. Mine is DJI Osmo 3. This is DJI Osmo 3. This gimbal, you can see his own. So it's just for stability. And oh, let me even tell you, there's this film that was shot in 2018. The name of the film is Unseen. They actually used an iPhone 7 throughout to shoot that film. And the film it made about 15 million in the box office. So that is how fantastic people are now using phones. All these kit makers that you're seeing, Macaroni, he makes use of phone most of the times. I'm not saying that he doesn't have his own DSLR or things like that, but if he wants a sharp production, he has very good video editors and things like that. So you could do fantastic things with your phone. You don't need to break the bank by going to go and get a 2 million naira phone or camera to just work with. Fearless, I'm going to ban you. So
Sorry.
okay, ma. Okay. So you don't need to break the bank because you want to go and get a very big camera. So no, because you want to become a YouTuber, you could make use of your phone, which you already have.
But with mobile filmmaking. Because it's no secret how popular smartphones have become. Steven Soderbergh, who is an Academy Award-winning director, actually has made multiple films on an iPhone, and one of them made about $15 million at the box office. Yes, a movie made $15 million that was filmed on what you have in your pocket. And not just that, but an iPhone 7, okay? Last year we filmed an entire wedding on just an iPhone 13, and no
Okay, good. You could see them. They're filming a wedding here. You can see this is okay. This is the one I'm holding presently. This is a DJI Osmo 3. He's using a running gimbal. So, and this person is using a normal camera for pictures. So you can see that photography has expanded. That you could basically just use your phone and a gimbal to start recording, and all these things are very, very affordable.
Maker that we showed it to could tell a difference. This proves nothing more than just how powerful your smartphone can really be. All you have to do is know how to properly run your camera, which we're going to show you in this video. Now, of course, we're going to be talking.
So subsequently, like I said, this is just a foundation class for you to understand what is the meaning of ISO, what's the meaning of shutter speed, what's the meaning of white balance, what is the meaning of frame rate per second. So I'm only giving you this foundation class so that once we begin, because we have only treated one software, we're going to treat how to even do video editing. And let me even show you one. Let me show you one. Let me show you one software. Let me show you one software. Okay, this Beauty Plus. Now, okay, let me show you Face Up. Now, look at what this application can do. Let me give you a close up. You can see how this woman is. Can you see the transformation? Good. So if you have a salon or you have you're a makeup artist and things like that, this is one of those tutorials you would want to come back to watch, because we're going to treat this app, how you can turn this someone who has black hairs and I think the face is not smooth. Yeah, you'll be able to like add so much
Or
effects
that
to it.
has freckles.
Exactly, freckles, blemishes, exactly. So you'd be able to transform this person to that. Let me show you another app we're also going to treat, Beauty Plus. Um, good. You'll be able to remove some background people away from it and transform this person into something. You'll be like, Shani, travel or be by. So these are things that we're going to learn in photography in our subsequent classes. So today is just foundation. Let us know why we're here, why we're going to be, what's the meaning of ISO, all these basic terms, and how the proper settings. Once you're able to set your phones, then we'll talk about photo editing, video editing, which are all parts of photography. Okay, good. Let's go back to our video.
All about the basics of mobile filmmaking, but if you want to learn even more, you can check out our full academy at tomorrowsfilmmakers.com with over 1,200 training videos and over 120 hours of content on every single filmmaking subject taught by leading professionals in the film industry. All right, enough introduction.
Register for free. Choose from over 200,000 vehicles online. Get your car straight.
Start the clock. Now, whenever you switch your phone to video mode and start filming, it might look kind of crappy. And that's because you are not using a manual camera app. Do not use the native camera app on your phone. You have no control. This will result in the exposure changing when you look at something darker or bright. And that's where you switch your phone to video mode and start filming. It might look kind of crappy. And that's because you are not using a manual camera app. Do not.
Good. You can see that even professional photographers, I'm not a professional, but even professional photographers will tell you that stop using the camera settings, like the camera app of your phone. Stop using that, because there are some things you cannot adjust there. They'll just snap and that is all. White balance, you can't touch it. White balance, you can't touch it. Your flame rate per second is just automatic. What that camera wants to do, you can't control it. It is just automatic. You have to have a third party app, which they call the manual camera app. So let's continue.
Use the native camera app on your phone. You have no control of the camera settings and everything is set to auto. This will result in the exposure changing when you look at something darker or brighter and immediately look amateur and just look like a cell phone. No professional video changes exposure or color while recording. You want to be able to set your exposure and lock it. Now, some of the newer phones have little more settings and features built in, like pro video settings, but believe me, it will be much better if you have a third-party camera app that is 100% devoted to giving you full controls of your camera and no longer shooting in auto mode. we would recommend Filmic Pro, DJI, Beastcam, or the Moment Pro camera app.
Okay, these are other applications. Like I was using one that I also make use of DJI Momo for my gimbal. It's also very crispy. It's very good, very good app. But this Filmic Pro, it's now expensive. I think you have monthly payments for it. But I make use of DJI Momo. I make use of I'm going to give you the list of applications, but today I only started with one, and I think we treated that one very well. That you know all the features there, so it's now meant for you to practice. If you don't practice and you think just listening to Lagbaja here, you are okay. No, you have to practice and get fond of that software. You have to do it. You have to make use of you don't need to get your gimbal today. Save for it, or you could, if you have the money, order for it on Ali on anywhere on Amazon. You could get it anywhere. But the thing here is just this: ensure you practice more often. If you have a software I've given to you, or I tell you, okay, go and download this software, practice with it. If you don't practice, you would never know how to use it. But the basic is just this. Like I said, for your ISO, it has to be at this range. Your shutter speed and your frame rate per second, one has to be two times the other. So you have to know all these basic settings. Once you do that, play with the software, play with it, get used to it, so that at any point in time, and always ensure you lock your settings. Let's continue.
Now, Filmic Pro is definitely the best app on the market in terms of features and functions, but unfortunately they recently switched from a one-time payment of $15 to a subscription model of $40 a year or $3 a week. I honestly have no idea why they did that, and a lot of people are actually jumping ship because of that. If that's something you'd still be interested in at that price, go for it. But we prefer the Moment Pro camera app, which is only $6 to download forever. But again, it doesn't matter what phone or camera app you're using. It's the settings inside that are universal that we're going to be talking about. So get a camera app and let's.
So, like I said, for all those softwares, the features are universal. What is ISO in this is also ISO in that one. What is frame rate per second is also what is FPS in another place. What is shutter speed is still the same thing they are doing. It's only that you have to know where they are and what each of them mean, and you have to know what you have to set them to. Like I told you, let me go over this again. Like I said for your frame rate per second, always make sure you start with 24 or 30 frame rates per second. For 30 frame rates per second, it shows the actual how things are in reality. But if you want to be showing slow motion, set your frame rate, your FPS to 60, 120, 240. Don't stay at 30. If you go and slow 30 FPS, it will be very wobbly. For your ISO, I said stay at 800. You can go as high as 1000, but don't exceed that. For your shutter speed, I said your shutter speed should be twice what you put in frame rate. Frame rate that is 24 or 30, that means that your shutter speed would be what? 50. For 60, if you are using 60 frame rate, your shutter speed will be 120, 1/120. Then your white balance, I said when you are inside the room, set your white balance to 3200 Kelvin. When you are outside, set it to 5600 Kelvin. I hope we still remember all this. So let's continue with this video.
The four major elements of getting the correct exposure with your phone and properly using your smartphone are frame rate, ISO, shutter speed, and white balance. You would also have something called aperture, but you only need to worry about that if you're shooting with a DSLR that has a lens. So we don't care about that one. If you have an iPhone, Android, Google Pixel.
So this is the same question Mommy Kudus was asking me about aperture. I think they've inculcated that into the Samsung S24. But you don't really need to touch that. Once you know all these settings, don't touch that other feature. It's basically when you're making use of all these big cameras, that's when you talk about aperture. Okay, so let's continue with our video.
or even a burner phone, whatever it is, these 4 elements are used in all phones. Some training videos I've seen only focus on one of these settings and never give you the bigger picture of how all of these things work together. So we're going to be going through every single one, starting with frame rate. And if you've seen our other video called Master Your Camera in 20 Minutes, which is all about the mirrorless camera and DSLRs, you'll be familiar with a lot of what we're talking about in this section. The term frame rate refers to how many frames are in 1 second of your video. If we shoot something at 30 frames per second, then inside 1 second of footage, there will be 30 frames taken to equal 1 second. Now,
I hope we can still all remember what I call the frames rate. That is just one particular frame in a particular second. How many frames can you take in a second? Like you pausing a video, like what I just did now is just to pause this guy. This is a frame. This is what you call a frame. How many frames can you have in a second? So that's what you call FP. FPS means frame rate per second. Let's continue.
To know this is because you should shoot in certain frame rates and avoid other frame rates. Your smartphone will automatically be set to shooting at 30 frames per second, but the industry standard frame rate is 24 frames per second. This is the most cinematic and is what they use in Hollywood films today. It will give you the most natural looking motion that we're all used to seeing in the theater. If you want to shoot in slow motion, you need to shoot in 60 frames per second or
Now, another thing that we don't know, we'll be saying that I sent a picture is 25 MB kilo share kiniko kiniko. People don't know that. Go to your camera settings. You have been snapping in a higher frame rate per second. If you change your frame rate per second to something lower like 24 frame rates per second, you will notice that your camera, the size of your photo will reduce, maybe to about 5 MB. Anything low iPhone, anything low Samsung 24, between 20 and 24 that have very video quality high. Oh, sorry.
But you don't just want to play it back at normal speed or everything will look like a soap opera, because soap operas are shot at 60 frames per second. To get slow motion, you would take that 60 frames per second clip and slow down your footage and it would be buttery smooth. This is how you achieve slow motion, by shooting clips at a higher frame rate to allow more information whenever you slow down. The good thing is it's very simple. Just remember normal clips, 24 frames per second, slow motion 60 to 120 frames per second. So whenever you open your phone app, it might be different depending on your app, but locate the frame rate option, which in our case is located at the top of our phone, and change that to 24 frames per second. The next 2 things that we're going to focus on in getting the correct exposure is ISO and shutter speed. These are the 2 settings that you need to know, and you need to set these before you ever press record. Now you might be tempted to just click on what you want to expose for, because some apps will give you the ability to do that, and it will automatically change these 2 settings to expose for what you clicked on. The problem is these 2 settings affect certain things about your image, and so we need to set these manually. The first setting, and probably the easiest to understand, is just your ISO. This stands for International Standards Organization, and I have absolutely no idea why they called it that. It makes no sense, because all it is a way to make your image brighter or darker.
So this guy is not making use of the Blackmagic camera that we're using. He's using Mobile Pro. This is another software, a very good one, but it's not free. I think this one is about $6 per week or $6 per year. So it's not entirely free, but it is. You can see it is almost similar to the Blackmagic camera that we're using, and it is still the same ISO that they are saying. There is still the same frame rates, the same shutter speed. So let's continue.
Digitally without adding any lights to your scene. If we take our ISO right here and move it up and down, you can see the image getting brighter or darker depending on the ISO numbers. Pretty simple to understand. But there is one downside to ISO that we need to know about, and that is that ISO will produce noise and grain in your image. So when you boost your ISO, it starts to look like TV static on your image. Now, if you're taking a picture, it doesn't look that bad because the noise isn't moving. It looks like an old Polaroid image. But in video, the noise will actually move and genuinely look like TV static, which will ruin your image. And this isn't just with iPhones, this even happens to expensive cameras too. Every camera is different and gets noisier at different levels. All phones are also different, but I probably wouldn't go above 800 ISO unless.
Okay, good. You can see I'm also in tangent with him. He said it's very good to stay at 800 ISO, just like I advised earlier while we're using our Blackmagic camera. So when you're setting your ISO, just stay at 800. You could tweak it a little if you think it is a little bit white. You could bring it to 1000 and just see if it is okay for you, but don't try to exceed that. Let's continue.
I absolutely had to. So the biggest thing to understand is that ISO is useful and should be used to adjust your exposure, but you want to try and keep it as low as possible. That is the #1 rule. Next is your shutter speed. Now, shutter speed can be a little confusing, so I'm going to try to explain it in the best way I possibly can. Your shutter speed on your camera is how long your image is exposed to the world. So let's take a typical DSLR camera. The sensor inside the camera is what sees the world and captures the image onto the SD card. But there's a shutter in front of the sensor that keeps it from seeing anything, just like the eyelid of your camera. When the shutter opens, it allows the sensor to see the world, and then whenever it closes, that's one picture taken. And you've probably heard the sound of a shutter opening and closing 1,000 times with photographers. But depending on how fast the shutter will move up and down will then determine your image being brighter or darker. So if your shutter opens up for 10 seconds and just soaks in all the light and then closes, that's going to be a lot brighter than if your shutter opens for a fraction of a second and sees the world for just a moment. Well, with video, it's the exact same thing, except it's all done digitally. There's no physical shutter moving, so you're basically affecting how long each of those 24 frames are exposed to the world. If you have a really slow shutter speed with video, it's going to act the same way and allow a lot of light into the camera, versus if we have a really fast shutter speed, it's not going to allow as much light into the camera. So a slower shutter speed is a lower number and brighter image. A faster shutter speed is a higher number with a darker image. But just like with ISO, shutter speed doesn't only change exposure, it also affects something else, and that is your motion blur. So since there is a shutter opening and closing, affecting the motion blur
All these things he's just trying to do is just this. He's trying to let us know that at the end of the day, your shutter speed should just be 2 times your frame rate. Don't forget, yeah, your frame rate is just 24 or 30. So your shutter speed should just be times 2. That is, should be set at 60. If you are using a frame rate of 60 for slow motion, your shutter speed should be 120. So this is just what he's trying to explain here. So, but I think he's still going to go there. So let us just listen to him.
sense. For example, if we're taking a picture of a car and the shutter opens up, the car drives by, and then it closes, the picture is going to be a car driving from one end.
Now, if you are taking a video and you shoot something like this, the settings I gave to you, if you pause that video, it will appear
Frame to the other, resulting in a giant smear across the image. But if the shutter opens and closes at a fraction of a second, it's going to capture the car right in.
If you pause it very well, it will appear like this. But if you go and increase your shutter speed too much, it would be very, very blur. So that's what he's trying to explain here, that for you to get the best result, your shutter speed should just be twice your frame rate.
Place. Again, it's the same way with video. If we're looking at a ceiling fan and have a very slow shutter speed, as you can see, there's kind of a lot of motion blur. And if we look at the same ceiling fan with a very fast shutter speed, it almost looks jittery and hyper-realistic, and there's no motion blur. And if we pause both of these frames, you can really see what one frame looks like versus the other. On the left, you can see that there is a blur happening, and all 24 of those frames look like this, but on the right, with a high shutter speed, all 24 of those frames look like this, with no motion blur. The cool thing is, you can use this to your advantage to communicate a message to the audience. So if we turn our shutter speed really, really low, you're going to start to get an image that looks like this. It's very dreamlike and looks really strange and is warping everywhere, and it's completely unusable if you're just filming something normal like an interview. But if you want to use this for like a dream sequence, or maybe someone's about to pass out and they can't see properly, all you have to do is turn down your shutter speed. The opposite is also true. If you crank up your shutter speed to an extremely high level, you will have no motion blur, and you will have something that many people refer to as the Saving Private Ryan effect. If you notice in a lot of war movies, they have this hyper-realistic jittery look, and that's because they've simply cranked up their shutter speed. Whenever they're just talking before the battle starts, everything looks normal, but right when the battle starts, everything is super jittery and there's no motion blur. They don't add any special filters or expensive lenses. All they do is simply crank up their shutter speed, which you can do inside your smartphone. Now, before you start messing with your shutter speed, there is a rule of thumb to get the most natural looking motion blur with whatever frame rate you're shooting in. And that is, you want your shutter speed to be double the frame rate. This will look the most natural. So shutter speeds will go up and down in increments of 10, sometimes 5, but most of the time 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way up to crazy high numbers. So if you're shooting at 24 frames per second, doubling that would be 48. Some cameras can do 48, but since most of them just go up in increments of 10, you just want to pick the closest one, which would be 50. So if you're shooting at 24 frames per second, to get the most natural looking motion blur, you would want your shutter speed to be at 48. If you're shooting at 60 frames per second, you would want your shutter speed to be at 120, which would be doubling your frame rate. So ISO affects the exposure but can cause noise and grain if it's too high, and shutter speed affects the exposure as well, but will also affect your motion blur. So understanding both of these things and what they affect will really determine how you get the correct exposure and what settings you change with your iPhone. And like I said at the beginning, aperture is also something you need to know about, but only if you're using mirrorless cameras because it affects the lens itself, but it does not apply if you're using a smartphone. So now that we know the two settings you need to know to be aware of, there is another setting that will make your image look like a cell phone if you don't change it, and that is your white balance. White balance basically tells your phone what is the color white. If this setting is off, all other colors in your shot will lean more orange or blue. I bet you've noticed that sometimes when you press record, your image looks more orange than it did last time. And that's because of your white balance setting is off or it's on auto. If you're dealing with orange light, you need to tell your camera that you're dealing with orange light so it can compensate and make your whites look pure white. On a smartphone, your white balance will automatically be set for you unless you change it, and that can be really dangerous because it will change colors when you look at different things. This shot here was set to auto white balance, and the iPhone was automatically making the image look really warm and orange. When I realized it was set to auto, I set the white balance properly, and it looks 1,000 times better and accurate to how the actual shot looked when we were there. Now on a DSLR, you can create custom white balances by using a
Okay, so basically he's still repeating everything I've just said. So we'll be concluding the class because I don't want it to be too filled with so many things. So let's just go to camera settings and let's do this together. So this is just a Jara. Now for those using Android, please go to your camera, then you see settings at the top. If you're also using any other Android, please, not just Samsung, please, let's just do that now. This is just a Jara. So if you don't want to download the software, that's the Black Magic software, let's just show how we could also make use of our our normal camera settings. So if you want to record video, if you're shooting 4K videos, just know that your videos will be of very high. This is the highest quality. There are some phones with 8K videos, very good videos. um 180 is normal, then 720 very less quality, then they won't take much space in your phone. So for me, I usually leave it at 4K at 24 frames per second. That's because I want to shoot videos the way they are. I'm not doing any slow motion. If I'm doing slow motion, I can do it at 60 frame rates. I hope we know the difference now. 24 frame rates, it will show the thing the way the things are. 60 frame rates is if I want to shoot a soap opera or I want to do it in slow motion. I can slow the video down to slow motion. So those are the differences. So basically, shoot it at the highest quality, 24 frame rates per second. But if you know you don't have space on your phone, you can reduce it. but me, I like putting it in 4K at 24 frame rates per second. I've taught you what is 24 frame rates per second. Let's go back for recording slow mo. I'm putting it at 120 frame rates per second. That means I want it to be, but if you want it to be extremely slow, you can go to 240, but I don't want it to be extremely slow. So let's take it to 120 frame rates per second. So that's if I want to do slow mo. For your recording sound, just use normal stereo. um do I want to preserve all my settings? Yes, there are some I want to preserve, there are some I don't want to preserve. I want to preserve my night mode, I want to preserve my portrait zoom. All these ones are just personal. Those are the settings you want to preserve. Let's go. What else? Now, grid. I'm going to tell you what this grid is. Now I'm still going to go to camera. When you activate your grid and you want to shoot a camera, a this thing, a picture, it will show you these lines. Now, this is, if you're going to a photography school, they'll tell you to always make use of your grid, and it's there's a rule called the you should always place things at the middle of the grid to third grid. This at the middle of the grid. If you want to shoot a human being, the person should be not be at this corner, not be at this corner, not at this corner, not at this corner, not at this corner, not at this corner. The person should actually be at the middle. That is why you see that instead of you using to your hand might be shaking and things like that, make use of a gimbal. Your gimbal too, I will show you how it looks like, the funny part of a gimbal, and we'll see how it goes. So let's go back to the settings. Camera. Basically, those are the basic things. You could prioritize faster shooting, that's intelligently adapt image quality. Lens correction, you could go from front to the ultra to the wide cameras automatically. Macro control, you could just toggle on these features. That's if you're making use of an iPhone. Now on your iPhone itself, this is the camera of the iPhone. I'm not using the Black Magic app now. I'm only giving you, if you don't want to make use of the Black Magic app, but you want to change the settings of your iPhone. Now, you might be like, oh, what are all this? Now, for the slow mo, you already have a slow mo feature on your camera, and for this, if you can remember, for the slow mo, I said slow mo should be at 120 FPS. So if I want to take slow mo, it will be extremely slow. So if I want to take a video now, you'd actually see that if I record it to the end, the picture will be actually very slow. Time lapse. Like I said, today is just the foundation class. There'll be a day we'll be outside, not inside the room. We'll be outside taking videos, taking pictures, and things like that. Then we're going to see the features of all these things on your phone. For the time lapse is like fast forward. You are making a recording. Okay, let me do something now. For time lapse, let me just I'm recording. Okay, now I've made this. Now let us see how time lapse work. Look at something. It's like fast forward. Can see how fast it is. It's just like you're fast forwarding something. So that's time lapse. That's how it works. Slow motion. Once I okay, let me activate the slow motion so you see how it looks like. Okay, so for the slow motion, if I press play, you could see it would be very slow, very slow, very slow. Whereas I took this thing by just moving my hand very fast. You can see that. And I was moving my hand very, very fast. So those are the features you have on your iPhone. You have the cinematic, this thing also. You have everything there, your video, your photo, your portrait. Portrait means that if I'm taking pictures, something at the back will be blurry. So that's the meaning of portrait. For your panel means that I could take many pictures and put them together into one picture. That's the meaning of panel. That's this one here. So that's just the Jara. But don't let us forget that instead of you making use of this, your camera app, make use of third apps called the panel. Now, in summary, don't forget this is your lens here. Don't forget this is lens here. This is lens, frame rates per second. Your shutter should be 2 times what your FPS is. For your ISO, I told you your ISO should stay. I didn't save this thing. Should be at what? 100? 800, sorry. I said you could also take it as high as 1000. Your white balance, if you're inside a room, should be 3200 Kelvin. Should be 3200 Kelvin, or if you're outside, it should be 5600 Kelvin. If you're in a very sunny environment, you could activate your tint and put it to anywhere you want to. Then once you're done, just activate this padlock here that I want to save my settings. So that is all for today's class. Do we have any questions? Mommy Kudus, do you have any question?
Not really. I just want to say a very big thank you to you because this thing actually came at the point of me doing a photo shoot. Instead of me wasting money, I make use of my phone. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, ma. No, Expert Raw is very okay. It's also on this thing. It's also on it's very good to even shoot on Expert Raw. Let me show you. It's also on iPhone. So this is it here. I'm always also activating it. It shows you the raw stuff. It's not going to edit anything. Expert Raw just going to show you how it is if you're looking at it with your naked eyes. That's what it means. So hello, I think I've answered your question. So I usually leave it on raw. Any other question? Any abroad? Is there any other question? Or was anybody asking the question I didn't see?
No question.
Wow. So but yeah, when that is soon learning. Maybe I was boring. I'm sorry about that if I was boring,
No,
but
we enjoy it. It's okay.
okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Now
Thank you very
Sweet
I
much.
do
báyẹn náà.
know
It's explicit so kò sí. Bàbá ni ṣé mo gbòyìnbó yẹn? Ó wà okay. Títí àwọn tó
are you using food setting? What phone are you using? It depends on the phone you're using because all these, like I said, stop using your native camera app, the camera app that came with your phone. Try to use third-party apps if you want to go to photography. But if you're using your own camera app, it's just for just your regular shooting of pictures and things like that. Samsung 24. Emma Buni mi ò lo Samsung 24. I'm an iPhone guy. So, like I said, try to invest in yourself. Okay, try to
Mr.
invest in
Dawa.
yourself. Don't go
Mr.
and buy
Dawa.
all those very big
Mr.
cameras. Make
Dawa.
sure you,
Mr.
mommy,
Dawa. Ṣé ẹ rí nǹkan tí mo kọ ni?
kill a call.
Ẹ scroll lọ sókè ẹ lọ wò. Ẹ sọ nǹkan kan lẹ́ẹ̀kan mo dẹ̀ ń dá yín lọ́ọ̀ ẹ̀dẹ̀ dáhùn. Ṣé bá
ẹ
ra
tún fún
kíláàsì
tíṣà
náà
níṣẹ́.
ni?
Ṣé ẹ dẹ̀ sọ nǹkan tẹ kọ? Ẹ tún fún tíṣà ìṣe kan stroll lọ sókè. Ó ga o.
Ah. Mo ti rí nǹkan tẹ́ kọ. Oh God, Chubimi. No, she's only trying to tell us the functions of the gimbal. That is this. Okay. Let me even give you something very interesting about the gimbal. Okay, but while we're doing that, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, you could just I'll do it for the kids, like kids in just starting to study computer science. It's so you could just tell your kids to come in front of of your phone. I'll be showing them the parts of a computer. I'll open a CPU for them. Tell them this is what this is. This is what this is. This is what you call this. This is what you call a hard drive. This is where the RAM is. This is where the processor is. Okay. If you want to set your date and time and it does not work well, you only have to remove the CMOS battery and put it back. This is how to remove your RAM and blow it back. So I could do that also because I said I'll also be holding tech classes. So um, where is this
Mo
DJI?
like stand yìí o, Mr. Dawa. Mo
Kenyan.
like this stand tẹ̀ lọ.
It's not a stand. It is called a gimbal.
The phone
This is
stand.
it.
Ah,
Look at it.
oh, oh.
Okay. I'm going to do something now. There's something I will do to it rather. Boom, 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 boom. It's also èèyàn tó bá sọ pé òun ti ra gimbal yìí, I'm going to show the person how to make use of it.
Mr. Dawa, èló ló ń ta kin? Èló ló ń ta?
It is just for stability so that ọwọ́ yín tó ń gbọ̀n tẹ́ bá ń mú fóònù dání yẹn kò ní gbọ̀n mọ́.
Òun náà lọ́wọ́ mi máa ń gbọ̀n gan. Ó ní reason get why.
Never do ìgbọ̀njọ́.
Bí èló ló máa ń ta Mr. Dawa?
It's about 180k in Nigeria
Ah, kò bad.
at all.
Kò bad, má dẹ̀ wá.
So that's what I said. I said tomorrow I'll try to. Okay, let me show you something very interesting. I'm not touching the gimbal, but it is following that object wherever it is going to. So for stability, you could just put your gimbal somewhere and be making videos in your kitchen. It will be following you. You're explaining a video to someone. You can see that it is following the object wherever the object is. You can see that. So that's how a gimbal works for stability. So it makes use of your Bluetooth now. It functions with Bluetooth. What time for the kids? Time for the kids tomorrow. Me mọ nǹkan tí kí n fi sí o. What should I put it at? What time will be okay? Because I know many people will go to church tomorrow, and I don't want to disturb church activities. Anytime that is convenient. So I hope with this. So next week, same time by 12 p.m. Maiduguri time, we'll be treating the other softwares for phone edits, picture edits. We'll be doing that. We'll be editing pictures. I'll show you how to edit pictures, how to make it clearer and things like that. We'll be doing a little bit of video editing, basically on the laptop also. So what I'll do is that maybe I'll go to Temi's Sister Temi's videos on her profile. I'll check all her adverts on her gold business. I'll look for very good ones. Then I'll bring the videos together. I'll show you people how I want to edit it into a fine piece, how to put soundtrack, how to put these things. Then you're going to see everything into one piece. So that's when we'll be practicing and practicing and practicing with, because I know there'll be lots of questions. And I'll be using an app. If you have a laptop, you want to go into video editing, it's also a part of photography. If you want to go into just only pictures, maybe you have a website and you want to go to only pictures, I'll tell you to download Lightroom or Face App or Beauty Plus. Àwọn èèyàn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe makeup artist, tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ nu studio, tó ń ya camera, tó ń ya photo fún yàn. I'll tell you to download the Face app or Beauty Plus. Then Lightroom is just for everybody. Then tó bá jẹ́ laptop nsìn ni, I'm going to show you how I edit on Filmora, Wondershare Filmora. So all these things are things that I would enjoy in this our class. So for tomorrow, I only want to do this for the kids or people that want to start computer science from scratch, show you parts of a computer, open the CPU, tell you where those components are, what a motherboard is, where the processor is, and just little things. And that class will only last for 1 hour, and that's all. So
Mr.
tomorrow,
Dawah,
let's, mommy,
Emma Bino, quick question. Image quality. Báwo
what
ni
phone
kò
is that?
ṣe jẹ́?
What phone is that?
Samsung.
What these things are they giving you? What options are they giving you your image quality? 4K, 8K,
90%,
1080.
91 till 99%.
What did you say? Can you show it to me? Let me see it.
Me, I cannot open my camera. I don't know how to do with the camera.
Okay, leave it at the best, this thing. But the thing here is this: the higher
What's
your
the
image
best
quality, the
quality?
thing there is that the higher your image quality, the higher the size of the picture or video.
So, okay.
That is,
My,
there are some pictures that might be as high as
like
50
my
MB.
phone now is 90%.
The thing there is this: such pictures, if you snap, you'll now be saying that they'll be telling you one picture is just 25 MB. Whereas if I snap it on the same on with a lower quality, it might just be about 5 MB. That's just the issue.
So which one is the best? The
It's
quality.
the one that suits you now. What do you want to use it for? Is it a
Okay.
professional picture?
Okay.
It's the one that suits you. Like me now, I use the highest quality. If my phone is filled up, plug it to a laptop, then bring out old pictures, put it in a flash external hard drive. That's what me I usually do.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Daughter of my in-law, my in-law.
Your two in-laws beside each other.
I know, right?
Sisto,
My Karoma.
what a
Mr.
guan
Dawah.
man.
Yes, my
Did you have
Karo,
a
sir.
question for me?
Well,
Good
I'll do
morning.
what I see you in camera.
Okay, no problem.
I'll see you in camera.
No problem. So
Thank
I think we've had a full. No problem, man. I think we've had a full day. So next week, please, guys, your phone that you want to use, and I think most of us are making use of Samsung. Main reason I don't really like Samsung is because of their screens. I'm that careful, careless that oh man jabolo me gone. So and I know that their screens are like three-quarter of the price of the phone.
It is very expensive, to be sincere.
Yeah, exactly. So I
But that
it's
was, why did you just downgrade Samsung like that? Kini kola the end kagbado to die.
I know they have one of the best cameras.
Don't listen to what I've said. I said kini kon la the end kagbado to die.
Ojoka Baba.
Mr. Dawah. Mami Kubi.